Pickers, welcome back to AHG. Hope everybody's well on this Monday. As I was talking about the Fallout builds, and as most of you will see after this, the title is Fallout builds and Moonshine box build. Like I discussed in the last video I did, Alex, set some lead down range for me, and we have one box. That's the Fallout box, and then the other box is for the Moonshine build. So I went ahead and cracked this open because you guys know Alex over the years. He loves to really use the packing tape. So I just cracked it open. Didn't grab anything out of it, nothing like that. I just thought the way he packs this with that packing. It's the same tape you usually, mask on your walls or paint a car with. So it's the very thick shit. But this time he sent a letter. He always does. That last time he missed it there. He's like, still working on your cowboy guitar. Should be done in the springtime. So I can't wait for that. I'm sure it's going to be nice and crazy and wild from Alex. As always, I got his other builds over here in the corner. I think I showed you guys. Alright, so I'm going to read his letter here. So it says, Dear Braden, greetings once again from snowy and cold PA. Hope you guys are staying warm out there. Sorry I didn't get a letter out to you last time. Just got busy with the holidays and everything else going on. Anywho's, congrats on over 50. Some people on the YouTubes. Hopefully some will win the awesome shovel guitar. Hope you guys had a good Christmas and New Year's. A new year, more builds to come. Enjoy the boxes and the Fallout guitar build. I also sent something from PA because you stink. LOL, enjoy. Talk to you soon, Alex. Alex Guitars. We always have a banter between me and Alex going back and forth if you're somebody who's new. Alright, so this box slung some lead down range. So this one, the small Ashton box, will be for the Moonshine build. Doubly and truly named Outlaw. So the Moonshine build is going to be Outlaw, and obviously, we got real ones. They were put down range. They were slung in here. Actually, you can see a couple of his miss marks here on the side. Doop and doop. So yeah, this one is going to be for the Moonshine build this year. That was going to be very special. And this one right here, for a lot of you cigar lovers out there, it pains me too. But it had to be done. We had to take a box that looked like it was from Fallout. And looking at some of the boxes through the game, there's different sizes. Some of them look like the Padron. Some of them look like one of these. They're different. So one would look like, it was somewhere on a shelf and went through a firefight and some, something just, peppered it a little bit. And you can see a lot of the miss marks here, which adds a little more character to it. So we took this perfectly good box. Perdoma box. They are gorgeous. I wish I could smell because I probably still smell like... Yeah, I wish I could. Lost my... But anyways, so yeah, this box is the Fallout box. The other thing that's going to be happening with this box is, unfortunately, all this was supposed to tie together in the video. But unfortunately what happened is, so I will tell you. I will still show you, but I'll tell you. So the front of this box right here, if you guys play Fallout and you're fans of Fallout, then like walking through the small towns, right? You always see the posters that are on the wall. They're all jagged, and most of them are, So, this front of this box is going to get a custom, nice, it's going to be the Brotherhood. It's going to have a nice Brotherhood decal on here that looks like it was from... It's actually from the video game. The one that I'm getting is from the video game. That looks just like the one plastered on the wall about join the Brotherhood. So it's going to be cool. That says hopefully Wednesday. So we'll see. It keeps getting knocked back. But yeah, this one's going to be cool. So that's the Fallout box. This is the Moonshine box. This nice little Ashton. The reason I didn't want this one to be the Fallout box is because really, here are the size differences. A little bit tinier, a little thicker. So this one made more sense than this one. And this one really, it's, the Moonshine build is going to be really fun. So that's both the builds. And he said he sent something in the box. So let's dig through the box. Alright, Alex. This must be your stink part, huh? That I read in the letter. At least you could have got me one that smelled like cigarettes, you know? Duke Cannon. Big ass lump of coal. Activated charcoal soap. Smells like mischief and shenanigans. Alright, I get it now, Alex. Oh shit. Let's open this thing, guys. I wish I could smell. But yes, it is an actual big bar of soap. A big ass lump of coal. Activated charcoal smells like mischief and shenanigans. Oh, Alex. What's this one? Big ass Burka soap by Duke Cannon. It's Alex, man. Hey guys, how are you? It's Alex. So most of you guys, some of you guys might be new to my channel. But if you know my buddy Alex, check out ALXGTRS on Facebook. Alex Lectures is Facebook, but he created one for his CBG builds called ALXGTRS. So go check him out. So me and Alex have been friends for over 3 years now, so that's why we do the banter of stuff back and forth. See if you put anything else in here. Oh boy. Yeah, see, here's one of the nice Perdoma boxes that doesn't have bullet holes through it. So these are really thick. They're really good boxes. They resonate very well. So yeah, it's going to be fun. You put some stuff in here. Alright, what we got? We got junk. The best strings on the market, guys. Go look up Killer Strings, please. Go look up Killer Strings. If you want strings actually for your regular guitars and you don't build CBGs, they just made a pack for regular guitars. So go check out Steve Harvey and Killer Strings. You can find them here, and you can also find them on YouTube, Facebook, and my hands are covered in coal because he actually put anthracite coal in here. Oh, Alex, man, I tell you what. Put actual chips in here. See, this, my whole hands are covered in this stuff. That is real coal, ladies and gents. That is real coal. So, but yeah, I mean, we always build stuff out of junk. I mean, not per se, but I mean, some people, I guess, would call it junk, but, he did send all the rounds that he used in here, because I said I want to use some of these for the build. That looks like a Remington. And of course he made these out of real chips, so you can put those on, use them as your volume or tone knobs. But yeah, some real coal in here. And a bottle opener. I don't drink anymore, but... So, basically I have to get this box cleaned up if I wanted to use it for stuff. What else we got in here? Live safely. Incident injury. Yeah, so there's not much in this one except for a few of these. So you can use these as your volume and tone knobs. So basically if you build guitars, take a regular volume or tone knob. That's a regular volume or tone knob. Take one of these. All you do is you just, your favorite beer of choice or whatever, and you just glue them on top, just like that. You guys have seen the Fallout ones. They're back downstairs in the box. We'll go downstairs here in a minute because I want to tie some stuff in for you guys. But yeah, please go see Killer Strings. These guys are absolutely incredible. All right, so let's take care of the boxes. I think it takes care of this box in here. Alright, just to make sure we don't miss nothing. Hey, there's a quarter in there. Alright, guys, so we will go downstairs and I'm going to show you some more stuff. I got to get all this coal off my hands. But, you know, there's the 6er rack I built 2.5 years ago. That's the 9er rack. That thing's coming up on 2 years, too. I got the base over there. And also, if you guys are friends with me on Facebook or Instagram, I had a company come by December 22nd called Eat, Shop, Explore, Illinois. Sorry, we're going downstairs here. And they did a nice little piece on the shop and the builds, and they came here and I showed them all the light builds. You know, so they did a nice little spread on me, and it just launched today. So I'm going to put you guys on the counter here, and I'm going to get my hands washed, and then so just hang in there a second. So yeah, they did a nice little piece on me. Yeah, so let me get my hands washed up here, guys. Just give me a second. Get all this coal off my hands. So a funny little story about the coal between me and Alex. I was in my early 20s, and I worked at a few coal mines in Pennsylvania. And, you know, so and I always said I loved it, and I always said I miss Pennsylvania. So that's the hint of the coal, and then that big old bar of soap that he sent me that's got coal in it. So me and Alex always have a playful banter back and forth. So I gotta give him crap. I call him my adopted son. Okay, so down here, you guys see, this is where we create guitars. Well, here. Right? At this tiny little table, that's where I've always created guitars. So nothing fancy, nothing lavish. But I do have the builds coming up. I do have the shovel build. We're going to build a 1950 coal shovel into an awesome slider guitar. So if you like blues and you like to play with a slide, you can win that guitar from me. We'll go back upstairs in a minute so you guys can see it again. But go back 3 or 4 videos ago for that. Watch the details on that. So basically I told people how you can win the shovel guitar because we're going to build it live on here. That probably won't be till spring because I still have 2 cats left. His charger passed away there December. But I lost my taste and my smell in the accident. So I do remember that stain and my poly that I use, they're very strong. So I don't want the cats to get sick or, you know, try to have it by the back door or something. And let's say it fell down or something. I don't want the cats, you know, huffing that in. So the weather has to stay consistently over 40 degrees in order for stain to adhere and work right. So I build all my guitars here, but once the staining phase goes, you know, I go outside to stain. So that's why the weather needs to be that way. So I'm just preparing you guys of what's to come. And like I said, this year I'm trying to go big. Hence the Fallout guitar. I think the thing's going to be cool. I have a lot more stuff planned for it. But we're going to build the giveaway shovel slider guitar. It's out of a 1950 coal shovel, if some of you remember. What am I forgetting? My hamster just fell off the wheel. It needs to get back on and turn again. But you can win that guitar. We're going to build that guitar live. I'm going to show you guys how to... you really don't know how to stain. That's kind of boring anyways. You got to put stain on. You got to wait a little bit and then take your rag and wipe it off. But the whole wood burning part... I have one of my old wood burners right here. It's still sitting over here. I haven't been able to use my desk over a year because of the accident. So this year, like I said, we're going big. Just a tiny little desk. That thing right there is where I do all my work, sometimes on the kitchen counter. This table actually is going to be, when we move out of the apartment and get ourselves a place, but this table was my grandfather and my grandma, God rest her soul. It was their table. So this table will be the work table eventually. you know, and get something a little bigger. But to tie everything else in, as you guys always remember, I use these as my fretboards. These ones are the lows. This one's already cut to 25-inch scale. I still have all these left over 2 years. I still have 1, 2, 3, 4. If I do 25-inch, I get 2 of these out of 20. 2 of these out of one of these. And then the wood blanks are upstairs. But what I really wanted to show you guys is to get yourself into building. I'm gonna move my wife's purse. So my wife, or as she likes to say, the cats, got me this for Christmas. This is a whole. It's a better wood burner than my old one I have. But you got different ones in here, different shapes and sizes. The wood burner, I mean, this thing's nice. So we'll get this one cracking here before too long. It's just been sitting here with everything else. Okay, not the wood glue, not the. This is when I do my piezos and stuff. Go back 2 years ago and you'll see that done live. Okay. So what I want to show you guys, like I said, all my stuff stays in. You guys can see it better here. Oop. Yeah, just tiny little table. It's where I do all my work. Sometimes when I string up guitars, I use the countertop. But I've never showed you guys that. So if you guys are interested in some of that stuff, all you gotta do is tell me in the comments afterwards or whatnot. I was gonna say I'm trying not to miss anybody's comments. These little fellers are your fret dressing. You put these over your frets and you dress your frets. Of course, some of you should know what this guy is. That's your fret leveler to make sure your frets are level. That's for dressing your ends of your frets. What in the world? Alright. And you'll also need one of these. You'll need a string pitch. Fritz ruler. This thing comes in handy when you're trying to set a guitar up right. Some of my old strings. My southbound strings. These are good, but they're... what were they again? They were a 30, 22, and a 12. So, I like mine big and beefy. Remember showing you guys these. These are from my buddy Donnie. My buddy Donnie Bonos. He lives out in New York. And he took a whiskey barrel. The straps to go around a whiskey barrel. And he built these for me. These hardtails. Out of a whiskey barrel. So he lives close to, I can't remember what whiskey plant or whatever it is, but he lives close to that. I think these are all my old strings. But yeah, go see my buddy Donnie. Here you go. Go see my buddy Donnie. It's Donnie Bonus Guitars, DBG, Buffalo, New York. His builds start at 200. And what this says on the card, if you guys can... it's 716-868-6220 or bonosguitars@gmail.com. So Donnie is an awesome kid, man. No, that's it. Besides the amp I need to build. So I have all that stuff. To build my amp. Okay. Alright, now let's get to the templates. Okay. Oh. Okay. Alright. Alright, you want to purse back up here? Okay. Oh. Oh. Alright. Back to your regular scheduled programming. I make sure I'm missing nobody's comments here, guys. What's going on? All right. Okay, so we'll dig into these. So in here, in this cigar box, these aren't the best. That's why this one is labeled. This one's stickers, pickups, and miscellaneous. You can't even see it because it's dark. But you have these gorgeous, wonderful pickups from my buddy Marty. This is going to be on the one of the hubcap builds I'm going to do. It has a gorgeous gold cover. It's one of his Wicked Buckers. Then I have one that's actually like a nickel. And another thing I'm going to try to pull off on another build for you guys is, you see this? This is an old, to open your door. So this thing's going on a guitar, and I got to rip that back plate off of here, but this thing's going to be on the guitar. This hole right here fits perfectly with my Fender cables I use. They're thick. It'll fit through here, so this is going to cover the jack, and you're actually going to be putting your cable right through it. That's going to be on the Padron build that I showed you guys a few weeks ago. This is another cover, but I've got it wrapped up. This one is another Wicked Bucker, and this one is actually going to be on the shovel guitar that you guys will see. And these are all my cream Soap Bar P90s. It don't get no better than looking like the 50s with this. And then actually I used to build model cars. I haven't built model cars in about 3 years. I think it's been about 3 years. So I took some of my model cars, and you see this Spirit of 57 right here? This is for one of my Chevys, 57 Chevy. I'm going to take that Spirit of 57, and we're going to wrap it around the one we're going to do with the hubcap. So these will go on there. I just figured they get used since I don't build model cars anymore. Yeah, and all the cream P90s, you guys are going to see these here eventually. Let's see if I can unwrap one. Nah, the screws are on it. For most of you guys, it's a Gibson P90, pretty much. Make sure I'm not missing anybody's comments. And this guy, right here, this thing is awesome. Okay. So this guy, I don't know how well you can see that. While they go on there, We the People. This one is going to be on the fretboard. Okay, like this. It'll be on the fretboard. It's clear, so when I stain this, it'll prominently jump out more. But this one's for 25-inch scale. So I'm going to use that. I'm excited to get back to building here before too long. I still got a lot of doctor's appointments. They're going to take a look at my neck. See if I need neck surgery, or what the next steps or moves will be. So still working on all that stuff. So that's why I'm also waiting to build guitars, is getting back into my neurologist and see if we need neck surgery, or they're going to try to burn my nerve or something, because that's why I get my hand trimmers the way they are. It's because my nerve is shot. So doing all that stuff. We're hoping to find out here pretty soon, pretty quick. Okay. This box right here, you guys can't see it either, but it's miscellaneous bolts, nuts, you name it. Stuff that I use. So these are my shutter hinges. Those are what I use to as my hardtails. These are great for hardtails. You see that in most of my older builds. I've got drains in here that you would use. I've got extra tuners. I've got these MGB tuners here, still wrapped. So this is more like a miscellaneous nuts, bolts, all my stuff that I use for guitars that didn't need to be with anything else but its own identity there. And then I'm going to talk about templates with you guys before we go. If you guys remember, hold on here. The fallout caps. Like I said, I'm doing my due diligence here. And if you know the star, then you know. But these things are gonna, the fallout guitar I'm looking forward to. We're gonna do the giveaway shovel guitar first. And then we'll get to doing the fallout guitar. The moonshine, all those guitars, not in chronological order. Okay. Alright. So this box, my tuners, my strings, my templates. So if you want to build cigar box guitars, and let me put these back real fast. These are in the way. Ugh. 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 Okay. Alright. Okay. Alright. Just give me a second here. Okay. So if you want to build cigar box guitars, first off, there's no wrong way to do it. But if you want to have templates to make your life easier... Ooh, that cracked. Oh boy. Uh-oh. But you need one of these. Besides your fret saw. So you put your fretboard in here. You put your fretboard in here. And you take your saw. And you perfectly make your fret lines. You need one of these bad boys. It's a cigar box guitar notch template. So what this does is you line it up. Like if I'm looking at you like this, that's going to be your center. So you always check your numbers. That's too much dust on it. But you want one of these. That's to cut your notches so you can place your cigar box. Or place your neck in your cigar box. Sorry. And of course, I use medium. I like jumbo too, but for most guys who don't play regular guitars, that's why I don't use jumbo for my frets. Typically use mediums. Plus you can get your action a little bit lower with mediums than using jumbo frets. So, but here's my jumbo. These are my nut. Because I don't actually use a bone nut or anything like that for the 0 fret. I just use my jumbo fret wire for that. So you gotta have that. And then of course another thing that everybody loves the most. Tuners, and more tuners. I used to have all the other builds that have gone out the door. They use an offset pattern. These are your traditional 1950s style that you would find on the 50s parlor guitars. Even Gibson did them in the 1950s with some of their guitars. But that's why I choose to use these now, because they give you a little bit more of an old-timey feel. And plus I love open gear tuners. I am a gearhead, so I love my open gear tuners. No pun intended. Some more Soap Bar P90s. Another thing to make your life easier, if you're going to build cigar box guitars, get these guys right here. Because with these guys, you see the notch down there? Those 3 notch holes? If you put those up against your nut, or if you're going to use fret wire for your 0 fret, you're able to cut into them just fine. That's a 2 right, 1 left, 2 left, 1 right. Here's your 3 left, 3 right, 2 left. I love this stagger pattern. It's one of my favorites. And there's just your regular. So I love these guys because if you're gonna build a cigar box guitar, these have notches that you need if you're gonna use for your 0 fret. If you're not gonna use a bow nut and just use a fret wire, you can line up your strings perfectly every time with these. Makes your life easier and your holes are perfect all the time. So these work well. These from CB Giddy, about $22.75. Unless they change the price now. Another thing you go into... Let me get rid of some of these. Alright. Another thing you go into... Ah, crap. I don't want to break these. They're kind of fragile. Your Renaissance. Your typical Stradivarius. Here's a heart one. There's your Renaissance. Stradivarius. And then if you have bigger boxes, this is where they get way bigger. Stradivarius, Renaissance. Here's your way bigger F-holes. That's like if you're gonna build a. This is like if you're gonna build a Gretsch. Use that guy. So your fretting templates makes your life easier. Much easier in my opinion. And then I also have, these are kind of fun if you're going to build like a diddly bow versus a 3-string or a 4-string. These are just a single parlor style. Or you can get these guys. I love these because these remind me of the 1950 Fenders. The parlor style. And on the other one upstairs, that one on legs, that one has a star. It kind of reminded me of, you know, like the good old outlaw days, Wild West days. That's kind of why I used it to begin with. So it's just things that, you know, you want to consider, and you know, if you want to build a perfectly good cigar box guitar. Even these old tins. These old tins are filled. I think these are my volume pot and jack. So all brand new. These little fellers are $250K. And then once again, your volume and tone knobs, if you want to get, you just take a regular tone knob. Use your beer cans, whatever you want to use, your beer tops or old Coca-Cola tops, whatever you want to use. You can use these as your volume and tone knobs. It just makes your guitar unique and different. And of course your jacks. I got a whole crap load in here. You're going to have your jack, your input-output jack. Technically your jack is an input because you're putting it in, and if pedals are outputs. You go input, output, in and out. And I think this one's got more P90s in it. Yeah, my piezo discs. Here's some other. These are brand new. I just took them out of the thing, so I got to put them in this little cookie tin. That's all my stuff I've kept. And if some of you guys don't know, let me dig in here. Not these guys, but these are actual spares off of like Jacksons and stuff. But these little fellers, this is something you don't see in a cigar box guitar. It's called piezo. But if you want to get funny, you call it a piezo. Oh, crap. These little fellers. Uh-oh. These little guys. They'll go right by your bridge or saddle. So if you got a saddle and it goes right into your wood, And then these things are resonant. It'll make the whole guitar sing and feel bright. So I would recommend, if you guys want to build an acoustic, the perfect acoustic electric, use piezo discs. You can also get these from CB Giddy. They're not bad. If you don't get the bundle, they're $10.99 and they're already ready. It's got the, all you have to do is, you don't even have to solder if you're not a person who solders. But you want to use these on top of the piezo discs. Because if not, it's not going to sound very great. But yeah, you always got to have your jacks, input, output. So that is all my stuff. That's always under there that nobody ever gets to see when I'm building guitars. Right under... Oops. Right? You see where the wood's sticking out? My drill's sticking out? That's where everything goes. For that. So that's just stuff to keep in mind if you want to build guitars, and have some fun. But I cannot wait. I cannot wait to do the awesome Fallout guitar. Those are the bottle caps. Sounds just like the game. Alright, so let's go back upstairs. And we'll go back in the catch-all room with the guitars, and we'll talk about some guitars for a minute. Before I let you all go and have a good rest of your day. What are you doing, Mopar? Say hi, Mopar. You gonna say hi to everybody? Alright, I guess not. Yeah, it's alright. Alright. So let's talk about guitars again. So this is the coal shovel. The 1950 coal shovel. That'll be turned into a guitar. We got a lot of work to do. I've got more sanding to do. Since this isn't going to personally stay with me, I want to get this perfect for somebody else. Otherwise, I wouldn't even sand it. I would burn the name in here and stain it, and that'd be that. But I've got to take out the notches up here that would go into your wood. Oh, you can't really see them. There's little tabs right here that go into the wood, the two little prongs. I have to cut those out to get these perfectly flush, and then I'll have to add more washers. But we got to build this thing into a killer guitar. So you can win this. You can win this guitar. Another thing I want to do. You see this old coffee pot? This old coffee pot is going to be turned into a diddly bow called Cup of Joe. So, Cup of Joe. So, I could clean it out and I could use it again, but nah, it's old. If you grew up with these, then you most likely love these. But yeah, this is going to be made into a diddly bow. Because, why not? It's going to be called Cup of Joe. Let's take it back almost 3 years for you guys. This is the one that started it all right here. This one is doubly named. I gotta turn the guitar this way. Sippin' Lightning. I love this one. Route 66 sticker. I should have saved that for an automotive build, but there's my racing number. I put it in here, 66SR. But you guys can see this glorious stain. This guitar was really, really fun. There's a 1969 penny up there. So this is the one that said, okay, I'm going to come back and build guitars because I love it. But I loved Sippin' Lightning, man. This one was so fun. This one looks great in the sunlight. Like I said, it looks like it's sitting on somebody's porch next to a chair. It's been out in the rain. It's been out in the weather. And guy comes out to have a smoke and sits there with some moonshine in his lap. And all of a sudden he picks this up and starts playing it. That's kind of what I wanted to go for when I built this thing. And it's awesome. I just need to change the strings on it. But I love that. 1969 penny. I just love how I did the stain on this thing. Sippin' Lightning was fun, man. Such a great guitar. Another fun one. Take this one back 2.5 years ago. This guy right here. This guy right here. Oh, you can see the. Whew, it turned. I love this guy. This is all the companies from my automotive shop that used to work with me. You got the NHRA on there. You got PRI, Performance Racing Industry. Pure Fluid Systems. Rattler Cams. That's where the snake comes in. And I doubly named this thing Nitro Benny after my cat. Benny passed away a year after I decided to build this guitar. And I missed that cat so much. So I decided to name a guitar after him and call it Nitro Benny. Now we got to make a guitar for Charger, and doubly call it Mopar or No Car. So, or just Charger, either one. But this is like all my years of drag racing and saving all these pins when you go to the racetrack. You can get all that cool stuff. But and then I took one of my 9mm Lugers, and it's my volume and tone knob. This has got a piezo disc in it. But this guitar is gorgeous. This was Kona. It's like a deep, dark chocolate color is basically what Kona is called. You can see that nice gloss on there. So I love this guitar. This was another fun one. It sounds really, really good. I can't wait to play it again for you guys. And as I said before, I'm going to be doing a new series on here called Coffee and a Twalk. Coffee Twalk. If you know that skit and you're that old, good job for you. But I'm going to do a new skit called Coffee Talk. Coffee and a Talk with AHG. And it's just talking about life, guitars, other companies. I've got a wonderful person coming on board who makes custom picks. And they make them, out of brass and pennies. And it's just a lot of stuff. So the first Coffee and a Talk is going to be, like I said, just talking about life, guitars, life lessons learned, all that stuff. And get companies involved and share some of their products on here. That one's going to be the first one. Amazing. It makes amazing custom picks, like out of pennies and quarters and, hammered nickel and all that stuff. Like, they're good picks, and I can't wait to share that, guys, with you. But speaking of which, so good old Angus here, needs restringed. And I'm going to recheck the frets. So, Coffee and a Talk. We're just going to have a nice cup of joe together. And I'm going to restring this bad boy. We're going to put another set of killer strings on here. And we'll try to tear it up. If I don't have a bad hand day, then we'll tear it up. I am ambidextrous. I can go right or left. But the problem is, if I went left, then I'd have to sit here. But I can't keep my hand still long enough because my hand's shaking. So, but good old Angus here needs to be reworked. We're going to check the frets, put some killer strings on here. That's the name of the company I just showed you, Killer Strings. Then we'll plug her into the old Orange Crush amp, and let's have at her. But I love this one. It's one of my favorites. So there's a lot of stuff to look forward to. And speaking of my buddy Alex, like I said, he's making me he's calling it the cowboy guitar. So this is the very first prototype he gave me. To him, this is called the Railroad Frying Pan. But it's a nice chugger. You can see you got Alex guitars right here. 66 SR, my race number, and like I said, the year after Benny passed away, this says Benny, and then it says Sixer for the Sixer rack. But this is what's known as a chugger. 2 strings. Guitar string and a bass string. You can see right there. Bass tuner, guitar tuner. Get your G string. I can't remember what bass string this is, but I love this thing. It's crazy. And he calls it, and to me it's Sippin' Lightning 2.0. But I love this thing. It's weird, macabre. And Alex built it for me. It sounds really good with the piezo disc. Not too shabby, actually. And another crazy creation Alex built me is this one right here. So this one he doubly named American Heritage Guitars 3.0. So this is a diddly bow bass. So basically, it's not fretted. It's not fretted. You're basically playing the bass, but using it as a slide. So it's a slide bass. But he calls it the D bass. And I just hit the light. Oops. The D bass. This is what's pretty cool though. Party on, party off. This thing is crazy. It's wicked to hold because you got to hold it like this versus holding it upright. Yeah, it's kind of it's interesting, but it's cool. Let's just build some crazy stuff. But that other guitar he's building me, hopefully springtime, we'll all get that and see it together. I'm ready to see it. He's been working on it since late last year. And the other guitars that I want to do, like I said in my last videos, I want to build another one like Happy Days. So this is Happy Days. Happy Days. Yes, that is a real Elvis 45. Hound Dog. And this one's a perfect slider. It literally has a telly style in the neck position. And this thing is just an impressive slider. I love this thing. It's such a wicked build. That's my honey stain. Of course, you gotta have the headstock adornment. I do that on all my guitars. I gotta have something on the headstock. It's just me, man. But I love Happy Days. I want to build more of these. I've got a lot more 45s down here that need to be on guitars and good homes. I need to take some of them, make another guitar like this. Maybe one that's not a slider and actually one that, is fretted. I don't know, I just want to make another one like Happy Days. I love Happy Days because this is a real Elvis 45. It's Hound Dog. And Happy Days, to me, if you grew up with the TV show, it's one of the best TV shows on the planet, Happy Days. Fonzie, hey! But Happy Days, to me, also resembles growing up with my family in a musical family. Such talent with playing piano and all that. So Happy Days is a very special one. So I want to do more like this, but fretted, for people to enjoy in case they don't like slides. I want to build another one. I even have Van Halen down here. Hot Teacher. I have Van Halen 45 down here. And the reason these go on guitars is because they're broken. They will never be able to play again. Most of them are cracked because these are made out of Bakelite. And some of these are way older than the 80s. Some of these are I think 1930s, 1940s, and 50s, because this is Hound Dog 45. I don't know if you can see it, but it says it right there. It says Hound Dog 45, Elvis Presley. But yeah, I want to do some more of that for people to enjoy. And also, if you guys out there, if you know of anybody, these are my hubcaps. This is the Buick one. That's the old Bird. That's the one that's going to get a P90. But if you guys have old license plates from 1920s and the dirty 30s, let me know. Because I like to build license plate guitars. And if you have hubcaps like these, if you have any Dodge ones, or you have a Hudson, if you have a Hudson Hornet one, guys, please get a hold of me. I would love a Hudson Hornet one. And build it into a nice guitar, because I've always wanted to have a Hudson Hornet. I love those cars. They're awesome. But I want to bring back the days of Fireball Roberts and just old Americana. You know what I mean? That's kind of what I like my guitars to be designed after, is old Americana. So, in a nutshell, and like I said, if anybody out there has a Kramer neck or an old Charvel neck, what I want to do with you guys, instead of building cigar box guitars, is I want to take this old thing right here. That's one of those Davison guitars. So I want this neck gone, off, poof. It is absolutely horrible. The frets, if you were to play, they cut into your fingers. But the body looks just like a Beretta. The body is just like a Beretta. But I want to do my own Frankenstrat. Not like Eddie Van Halen, just my own. I want to just take this body, and I don't know if I'm going to paint it, leave it black. I don't know what I'm going to do. But we have the Mario's distortions in here. I want to get a Floyd Rose, either a Charvel neck or a Kramer neck, and just make an awesome guitar and get this ugly neck off of here. And the frets are horrible. Going down it, because I never I never played this thing. It's how bad they are. This needs a whole redone, or I'll take a cigar box guitar and take this neck. But it'll definitely need to be refretted, that's for sure. But I want to build a special 80s inspired guitar for everyone to enjoy. Uh, I miss that day. I miss the days of grabbing, you know, just grabbing it and tugging it, like good old Pantera days, man. You know, I miss the 80s, man. I miss having my hair for the 80s, man. But just do fun stuff with you guys. Like I said, the Dealimo build. There's so much stuff I want to do this year. Um, overcoming last year in the accident, man. Um, that's basically I'm gonna call 2026 my comeback year. I have a travel amp to build. It's a mini 9-bolt one. Um, just so much stuff to do, so much stuff I want to do. I've tried to reach out to some pedal companies because there's some pedals I honestly can't afford that I really to do my sound justice on what I need another tape delay. I'm looking for a good tape delay. I'm looking for pretty much like a. I have all these down here are pretty much except for my original Crybaby. This is a 90s. This is a 90s baby here. This one's beat up, but it's still great. I mean, you can hear the. It's still great. I love this thing. I even had to write Crybaby on there. But I want to take some of these pedals because all the rest of these pedals are Joyo pedals. So some of them really don't have that flavor sound wise of, especially in overdrive, not like a fuzz or so I'm trying to look for different companies. I'm trying to look for a tape delay pedal. I want to do some cool guitar playing. I want to do a lot of cool stuff. So, I just love you guys. I can never thank you guys enough. This has been an awesome ride. Coming back, I also have to take this guy over here. You see this right here? That guy is going to be I can fit 2 guitars in there. But that guy is I need to put some foam in there and all that stuff. But that big guy right here is going to be the next eight American Heritage Guitars little travel rig where I can carry 2 guitars there. And then down below it is where all my cigar boxes are being held. So, yeah, there's just a lot of stuff I want to do, and have some fun. Yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. But I'm going to get off of here. Go enjoy the rest of your Monday. And once other things start rolling in and stuff, and I want to show you guys that the poster decal it's 5 inches that's going to go on the build of the Brotherhood of Steel. I'm still thinking of more stuff to add to that build. I'm not even finished with thinking for that. I really want to go all out and build an awesome Fallout guitar that people can enjoy. I think I got some coal in my eyeballs that people can enjoy. So I want to enjoy myself. I want to impress myself, but I just hope some of you guys will be able to enjoy yourselves as well. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna get off here, guys. Everybody have a good rest of your day. I love you all. We'll catch you on the flip side and the dark side of the moon back here at AHG sometime very soon. I love you guys so much.